You want me to share the screen?
Hari Om. Yeah, I'll share. Just that I will see how much I can do. Maybe today, let's see how much I can do. If I'm not able to, I will let you know. Then you can carry on.
Okay. Okay, Brahmaraj. Okay.
Just let me know. Are you hearing any background noise?
No, 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 no. It's very clear.
That's clear.
Yeah. I just need to log in from the two devices. If I share the
Okay.
screen, I will
Yeah.
not. It's mother-in-law. I don't have the another phone, so my mother-in-law's phone, I
Doesn't
will log.
matter. As far as I can, I will do. Mostly, I will be able to do. Not an issue.
Okay, Dhanyavad, Brahmaraj. Just let me know if anytime you need.
Fine. ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं चैव ततो जयमुदीरयेत् So Bela, yesterday you wanted to do this thing once again, no? That
Yes, Brahmaraji. The sunrise, I was just thinking before we begin this chapter, no, but that whatever we see around us is all different from what is the reality. So just wanted to contemplate.
Yeah, because there are three levels of understanding, no? Our perception through the senses is what we see, like the sun rises. We look at as if the sun is rising in the east and setting in the sun. That is what our senses tell us. But through our intellect, we understand that it's not the sun rising or setting. It is that the earth rotates around itself, and therefore you get this illusion that the sun is rising and setting. But then there is also another level of understanding beyond the intellect, which is beyond logic. which is what I suppose makes us understand the real from unreal. Mithya and Satya. That is the ultimate knowledge. No, that is
Yes.
that is the intuitive knowledge or the prajna. That is beyond the intellect and senses. So I think that is what will kind of unfold itself the more antakarana shuddhi happens. The more
Correct.
we are caught up with raga and dvesha, we are only seeing the material world with our senses and with our mind and intellect. We are taking pros and cons, likes and dislikes. We are all held up by them. But the moment you start letting the raga dveshas hold on you come loose, you're not allowing them to have the say on you, then slowly that the mind keeps getting purified. And in that purified space, prajna will dawn. I mean, prajna is always there. It'll be uncovered. That is why in the intuition process, when we teach them, we tell them the less likes and dislikes they have, the better the intuition.
So is it, Brahmaraj, is it the like Gyan and Vignan? Is it like when Vignan ends, the Gyan begins? I mean, whatever we say as a scientific truth, whether it is sun revolving or not, earth revolving, the scientific truth are different from what is the pragya, what we say, our wisdom, what our rishis have said, and what we are not even able to think right now. Imagine sixth sense.
Yeah.
Those rishis were already there as per our scriptures. They were able to travel the space and beyond that. So our Vignan has limitations, but our Gnan, what rishis have said, it is beyond limitations. Can we say?
Jnana, if you're talking of in the sense of science, yes. But Jnana Vijnana has another connotation. If you remember, Jnana is like Paroksha Jnana, whereas Vijnana is where you make that knowledge your own experience. So that Vijnana is different, but I understand you're talking of Vijnana as part of science.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes,
So,
yes. Because
like,
every, whether it is weight, time, everything is only on Earth. When you go to other planets, there is no such,
correct.
there is no weight or
Right.
Which is which you can say that it is existing. So it will be, the dimensions are too different. Gravity and everything. I mean,
Very true. Very true. That is why there was one physicist who, when he met Gurudev, he said, I have been studying matter for 35 years, only to realize that it does not exist.
yes, I had
Such
seen.
a profound statement, no? So what we see with our eyes, our body, this computer, this table, all that, actually we look at it as though it is real. For us, it is very real. It has a real existence. But actually, it has no existence. So for us to understand that at our level becomes very difficult. So we have to, should I say, elevate ourselves to such a level that we understand that the whole Jagat is Mithya. Jagat is nothing but Mithya. That is what the whole Vedantic truths are saying. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. To know it as a concept is different, but to understand it and make it your own, that is the whole sadhana.
Correct, Brahmaraj. It's just feeling of wow when we see the things around us. Really, I mean, that brings that gratitude and that gratefulness.
Right. But at least to begin with, we should know that as a concept. Because there are many people who think world is only real. They don't even consider the world to be mithya. So first step, I suppose, is getting the knowledge, the mere through pramana. Veda is the pramana. So you get that knowledge that the world is mithya. And then you contemplate upon it. That is why it is said, Shravanam kuryat, then Mananam kuryat, Nididyas Atma Vare, Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, what is that? Nididyasitavyaha. So there are 3 steps to that. So first you listen about it, then you you analyze about it, you understand it well, and then you contemplate upon it. And then it becomes your own.
Dhanyavad, Brahmaraji. Very beautiful.
So yesterday we looked at praying to the Lord for the cure of a disease or the solution. This is, what was the subtitle? This is verse number 7. Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarabhaterjuna karmendriyai karma yogam asaktasya vishishyate. Arjuna, yaha, to whereas indriyani, sense organs, manasa, with the mind, niyamya, controlling, asaktaha, unattached, karmendriyai, with the organs of action, karma yogam, the yoga of action, arabhate, takes to, saha, that one, vishishyate, is far superior. Whereas Arjuna, the one who controlling the sense organs with the mind, is unattached and takes to the yoga of action, performed with yoga buddhi, with the organs of action, is far superior. A person who can control his or her sense pursuits has discrimination, viveka. The control is through the mind only. The word manasa, through the mind, implies viveka. Manas being another word for buddhi. To control one's organs of action and sense pursuits, in other words, having a mastery over them, is to direct them at will. Such a person, not attached to karma phala, the results of action, begins arabhate. Arabhate takes to a life of karma yoga, meaning that the person, one second, person performs karma as a yoga, as a sadhana, a means. You cannot do karma yoga. You can only have it because karma yoga is strictly an attitude with reference to action and its result. The person described by Krishna in this verse is one who begins doing karma with the organs of action, speaking, walking, and whatever is to be done with the proper attitude. Actions to be done may be Vaidika karmas, scripturally enjoined rituals, or Laukika karmas, consisting of all other activities. When a person does Vaidika karma or Laukika karma with the karma yoga attitude, he or she does not do it to fulfill his or her raga dveshas, but to neutralize them. In other words, to purify the mind for gaining the knowledge that is moksha. Generally, people do Vaidika karma, rituals, prayers, and so on, in order to gain securities and pleasures. This is nothing but fulfilling their raga dveshas. First, you pray, and then you present the Lord with your petition. There is nothing wrong with this, but you should know that it is only for fulfilling raga dveshas. And therefore, you will continue to go into the cycle of samsara. Praying to the Lord for the cure of a disease or the solution to a problem is definitely appropriate. If you have done everything you can do and it is not enough, why not invoke the Lord also? What should be understood here, though, is that all prayers, even those enjoined by the Veda, can be for your securities and pleasures, either here or hereafter. Or they can be a yoga, a means of self-purification and self-knowledge, which is moksha. Karmas, even if performed according to dharma, is for the fulfillment of one's raga dveshas alone. That is, for the sake of achievements in the form of securities and pleasures. Such karmas are called kamya karmas. And the person who does the karma is called a karmi or a karmatha. In other words, one who is attached to the results of action. The person who is unattached is one who, rather than doing kamya karma, is doing karma for the sake of preparing the mind for knowledge. For such a person, prayer or any other type of Vaidika karma is for the very joy of praying and also for purification of the mind. Antakarana Shuddhi. Being for certain desired ends, that is, Antakarana Shuddhi and Moksha, these karmas also come under the category of Kamya karma. But since the purpose of performing them is Antakarana Shuddhi, they are not considered to be impelled by Raga Dveshas. This must be understood. But karma done for any other reason is a bhoga sadhana, a means for enjoying security and pleasure, even if it is a prayer or ritual enjoined by the Veda. A man may perform an elaborate ritual for the sake of wealth, progeny, or for heaven, in which he spends a lot of money. But all these are for enjoyment alone, even though the person does not know who is enjoying what. When you say you enjoy an object, you do seem to be enjoying it. In time, however, you find that the object has enjoyed you because you have grown older. The objects of enjoyment have taken away your liver, kidneys, everything. You find yourself the loser because you do not know who is the enjoyer and who is the enjoyed. During the early years of your life, your body was growing. You became taller and stronger. You grew by eating. But as an adult, the emphasis shifted. Previously, you were eating and you were growing. But now, in spite of eating, you are declining. Therefore, who is eating now? You are no longer eating the food. The food is eating you. The food itself has become the eater because, in spite of eating, you are declining. In this way, the eater can become the eaten. Therefore, we do not know which is the enjoyer and which is the enjoyed. Action as prayer. If when performing Vaidika karmas, a person thinks of himself or herself as an enjoyer, he or she is referred to as a halasakta, one who is attached to the results of action. It is the same for Laukika karma as well. In fact, for a karma yogi, there really is no such thing as a Laukika karma. The word is merely a verbal expression for an action that is not a Vedic ritual because for a yogi, all action is nothing but prayer to Ishvara, the Lord, as our analysis reveals. The order that is here in the creation is nothing but Ishvara. Once you recognize this fact, any action you perform which is in keeping with Ishvara becomes a prayer. Therefore, there is nothing that is Laukika or Vaidika, the words being used only to distinguish non-ritualistic from ritualistic actions. Since any action that is in keeping with Dharma or Ishvara becomes a form of prayer, action performed by one who is not attached to the result of action is not considered to be impelled by Raga Dveshas. The expression being unattached to the results of one's action is the source of much confusion because no one performs action without expecting results. The word asakta, one who is unattached, has to be understood as a technical word which means one whose actions, whether Vaidika or Laukika, are not based purely on raga dveshas. Raga is always in terms of something desirable that is away from you, And dvesha is in terms of something you want to avoid or get rid of. Actions not based on raga dveshas are considered to be in keeping with dharma and are meant for antakarana shuddhi. So basically, action is as a prayer itself for a karma yogi. Thus, in the verse, asakta refers to a person who enjoys a certain control. Otherwise, one's raga dveshas alone will decide what one should do. Whatever fancies happen along, the person will simply join them and do whatever comes to mind. Convenience instead of what is right becomes the rule here, though the action may be against dharma. The karma yogi, on the other hand, has a certain control over his or her organs of action and sense organs. We use the word certain here because even though the person is a karma yogi, he or she is still an agnya, one who is ignorant with reference to the self. Thus, even though this person may have some omissions and commissions, there is always a degree of control. Being not impelled by karma phala alone, interested only in antakarana shuddhi and moksha, the karma yogi does what has to be done. The idea conveyed here is that technically, purification of the mind is a result of one's actions. But because purification of the mind is not born out of raga dvesha based action, it is not referred to as karma phala in the usual cause. When you say you want to gain moksha, you mean that you want to know Atma, which means you want to know Ishvara. Antakarana Shuddhi is for understanding Ishvara. Knowledge of the Lord is knowledge of oneself. Whether we use the word knowing, gaining, reaching, or whatever, what is meant is knowledge of Ishvara, which is not separate from knowledge of the self. Between Jiva, the individual, and Ishvara, the Lord, there is identity, which is expressed as an equation. You are that. Tattvam asi. That tat refers to Ishvara, who is the cause of the world. That Ishvara you are. Tvam asi. This equation naturally implies self-knowledge and also Ishvara knowledge. In this context, karma is performed for antakarana shuddhi, so that the knowledge of Ishvara can be gained, not for getting something out of Ishvara. Getting something out of Ishvara implies raga dveshas, whereas here we want to know what he is. We want to have the vision of Ishvara, which is something entirely different. It's like a 180-degree turn. To whom Krishna described one who begins this yoga as far superior, to whom, in his commentary, Shankara refers back to the person mentioned in the previous verse, the one who outwardly performs no action, but dwells inwardly upon all the sense objects that have been given up. Such a person can also be called lazy. Laziness and idleness are not the same thing. A lazy person is one who does nothing outwardly, but does everything inwardly or mentally. He or she even writes letters mentally and then becomes annoyed when there is no reply. Whereas an idle person is one who is always busy without ever accomplishing anything. He or she creates all sorts of messes and then clears them up. Such a person has no time for anything and accomplishes nothing. In a planetarium in Hawaii, there is a coin-operated machine designed to be as busy as an idle person. Every form of mechanism can be seen in this machine. Moving pistons, revolving wheels, hammering devices, and so on. Everything that is mechanically possible is going on there, but nothing is ever produced. Aside from being a waste of energy and genius, this machine is an excellent satire of how people are busy accomplishing nothing. Wow, this is so profound. People are busy accomplishing nothing.
Yes, very eye-opening.
Yeah, Gurudev, Didi, please read this again. Yeah. In a planetarium in Hawaii, there is a coin-operated machine designed to be as busy as an idle person. See, the difference between lazy and idle person, Swamiji says, a lazy person is one who does nothing outwardly, but does everything mentally. He even writes letters mentally and then becomes annoyed that there's no reply. Whereas an idle person is one who is always busy without ever accomplishing anything. So, while laziness is something to do with uh, a person not doing anything outwardly, but he's doing everything inwardly, mentally. Whereas a person who is idle is always busy without ever accomplishing anything. Similar to the merry-go-round. It's just going round and round, but it's not reaching any place. It's not going anywhere. It is staying where it is, but it goes on moving. So once it's a red horse, another is a blue horse, just like that. So this idle person is one who keeps doing things, but uh, he's he does not accomplish anything. That is why in a planetarium in Hawaii there is a coin-operated machine designed to be as busy as an idle person. Every form of mechanism can be seen in this machine: moving pistons, revolving wheels, hammering devices, and so on. Everything that is mechanically possible is going on there, but nothing is ever produced. Aside from being a waste of energy and genius, the machine is an excellent satire on how people are busy accomplishing nothing.
Jai Gurudev. The first one is it because of the Prakriti Tamas, and the second idealism is because of lack of Vivek Buddhi?
I think both, no? Prakriti, of course, has a role to play, because based on what Sattva, Rajas, Tamas is going on, our thoughts and actions are determined by that. And there's lack of viveka also. That is why he's only being idle. He's nothing. He's not accomplishing anything. He's doing the same old thing time and again, time and again. Or he's doing other things, yes, but without this viveka of the real and the unreal.
So here there is no tamas, but because he's working, so there is not much of a tamas, but no Vivek Buddhi. In the first case, the person is working mentally, so he knows what needs to be done, but he's overcome by the tamas.
Correct. The word vishishyate in this verse does not simply mean superior. To say that the karma yogi is far better does not mean that the mithyachara mentioned in the previous verse is good. The two are completely different. One person is sitting, dwelling on things, being lazy, and the other person is active and has a karma yoga attitude. Because the karma yogi accomplishes everything, he or she is far superior to the other person who is simply a hypocrite. Not merely superior. There is no comparison at all. The karma yogi accomplishes the ultimate purushartha, moksha, but the hypocrite achieves nothing even in a relative sense. This being so, Krishna said, Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jyayo hya karmanaha sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyeda karmanaha. Tvam, you, niyatam, what is to be done, karma, action, kuru, do, he, because, akarmanaha, when compared to inaction, karma, action, jayaha, superior, akarmanaha, due to inaction, te, your, sharira yatra, maintenance of the body, api, even, cha, and na prasidhyet, would not be possible. Do action that is to be done because action is superior to inaction. And due to inaction, even the maintenance of your body would not become impossible. So he's used two negatives, so it's a positive. The maintenance of your body is not possible. The word niyatam refers to karma that is enjoined by the Shastra. By telling Arjuna to do those actions that are to be done, Krishna was not suggesting that the Shastra would always tell him what was to be done. There are, of course, many situations that the Shastra does not cover. But because every situation is a part of the given universal order, the situation itself dictates what is to be done. Then you need to be told a particular action is to be done at a particular time. Given the situation, what is to be done becomes very serious. The karma that is obvious in a given situation, that which is proper, is also niyata karma. It is niyata, ordered by the order of dharma, or because it is enjoined by the Shastra. In any case, it is the karma that must be done. Daily, occasionally, whenever. Krishna told Arjuna to perform action because it is definitely superior to doing nothing. If you do not know the Atma and do not do karma either, nothing will be accomplished. Instead, all that will happen is that the body will become sick and the antakarana, the mind, will become even sicker. You keep your... Instead, all that will happen is that the body will become sick and the antakarana, the mind, will become even sicker. Thus, doing karma is definitely superior. The word sharira yatra in the verse refers to the journey of the living body. From birth onwards, it has been journeying. Even though it reaches certain stages, there are still stations to travel to, like a train that has not yet reached its destination. The journey of living, Krishna said here, does not take place if actions are not performed. You simply cannot live your life. Even mere survival is not possible. And by merely surviving, you are accomplishing nothing. Life is not for mere survival. Even a frog manages to survive. Every living organism has the instinct for survival, and it does survive for a long time. Since anyone and anything can survive, survival is not considered to be a human accomplishment. Life, human life especially, is not just for surviving. It is for some accomplishment. This is why fourfold nishtas, fourfold purusharthas, human ends, security, artha, pleasure, security, artha, pleasure, kama, righteousness, dharma, and liberation, moksha, are mentioned in this Shastra. Since there are these ends to be accomplished, we have various desires that impel us to attempt to fulfill them. To just survive, one must at least eat. There is a Swami who is said to be such a great sannyasi that he does not use his hands even for eating. However, he does open his mouth so that something else can be put the food in. Someone else can put the food in. Obviously, he does not understand that opening his mouth is an action and closing it is another action, to say nothing of chewing, swallowing, and preparing for the next mouthful. This same Swami will not talk either. He does nothing, and people call it Naishkarmya, which is not. Even eating is not possible if you do no action, and to live, you have to get your food somehow. If you will not use your hands to eat, someone else has to put the food into your mouth. When others have to cook your food and put it into your mouth, there is action. Earning the money to buy the food, when others have to cook your food and put it into your mouth, there is action. Earning the money to buy the food and materials needed to prepare it is also action. Since survival cannot possibly be without action, do what is to be done by you. By telling Arjuna to perform action, Krishna was telling him not to be afraid of action. Arjuna's problem was that his karma was the cause of his being bound. When you do karma, you produce punya and papa, and because of this you are born again. Again, you will perform karmas, which again produce punya and papa, because of which you will be born yet again. This is why karma is said to be the villain in the life of samsara. Because karma alone is the cause for your being bound, you conclude that you should not do karma. Karmas are inexhaustible. So why we have to do what is ordained to us by the Shastra, either Vaidika or Laukika karma, is because you cannot not do anything. When such is the case, even for survival, you have to eat. When such is the case, you pretty well do what is to be done, so that you will not at least incur papa. What is to be done if you do, and that too you do it with an attitude of karma yoga, whether or not you get punya, what is happening is your raga dveshas will fall out. Karmas are inexhaustible. The cycle of life can be looked at through the model of karma, but if we do so, the model must be taken in its entirety. Suppose you say that by not doing any karma at all, there will be no problem. No punya or papa, and therefore no more birth and death. The cessation of this cycle of birth and death is what is meant by liberation, moksha. Therefore, by not doing anything, you will accomplish moksha. This is the argument of the Purva Pakshi, those that follow the Karma Kanda of the Veda. Let others study the Gita. You do not need it, because by doing nothing, you can gain moksha. To this, Shankara replies elsewhere by asking further questions. He asks, what about all the karmas standing in your account from previous births? Sanchita karmas. Who is going to fulfill them, even if you do nothing in this birth? Secondly, when did you decide not to do any more karma? Until you were 40 years old, all you did was karma. What about that karma? It also must be fulfilled. Furthermore, Can you remain for even the briefest period of time without performing karma? When you have the I am a doer notion, you cannot but do karma. In fact, you cannot remain for even a second without performing action or the other, without performing some action or the other. And if you are not occupied with doing right karma, it will take you no time at all to do wrong karma, which is why we have to do what is to be done, we have to do. Otherwise, the mind, monkey mind, will take no time to distract you away from that and um, take you towards wrong karma. Not doing karma, therefore, is nothing but a pipe dream. There is no such thing as gaining moksha by not doing karma. Of course, karma is the sake for you being, is the cause for you being around, being bound. Of course, karma is the cause for you being bound. No one ever said that karma liberates. Karma definitely binds the jiva. In fact, it is the third strand of a three-stranded knot. Ignorance is the first strand. Ignorance in the form of the notion, I am the doer. Once this ignorance-born notion is there, you cannot avoid the second strand, desire or karma. If you think that you are small, limited and mortal, you will want to be big, immortal. All these are desires. Because you do not want to be limited by ignorance, limited by the knowledge that you have limited knowledge, you do not accept ignorance. So what are the three-stranded knot? The karma that in fact, karma is the third strand of a three-stranded knot. Ignorance is the first strand. Ignorance in the form of the notion I am the doer is the second. Once this ignorance-born notion is there, you cannot avoid the second strand is desire or karma. If you think that you are small, limited and mortal, you will want to be a big, full, immortal. All these are desires. Because you do not want to be limited by ignorance, limited by the knowledge that you have limited knowledge, you do not accept ignorance. This means that you want to be free of the limitation of knowledge and ignorance, which is another desire. There is also the desire to be happy, to be free from unhappiness, inadequacy, and lack. These desires arise because you do not know that you are already full. When this ignorance is there, desires will also be there. And of course, they will be according to your limited knowledge. Therefore, even your wants are not very big. Even when your wants are not very big. You may want this and that, but they are all small wants really. Then, in order to fulfill these wants, you perform karma, which produces the punya and papa that creates new births for you. Given this ignorance, desire, action cycle, you remain bound by karma. So the three strands of this knot that leads to karma is ignorance, desire, and action. Karma Yoga releases you from the hold of raga dveshas. The same karma, however, while not itself a releasing factor, can assist in one's release if it is done with the attitude of Karma Yoga, as we have seen. By performing karma in this way, one is released from the hold of raga dveshas, likes and dislikes. Therefore, the same karma becomes a means, a sadhana. In the next few verses, the karma done in this way is being referred to as yajna. it becomes yoga, and one gains Shuddha Antakarana, a pure mind. With this pure mind, the person gains the knowledge that is moksha. This then is the order. Beginning with the next verse and ending with the 16th verse, Krishna then talked about karma as a means leading to moksha. Anyone wants to share anything here? यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणः अन्यत्र. Other than the karma performed for the sake of yajna, with reference to other karma, I am this lokaha, the one who is enjoined to do the karma, karma bandhaha, karma bandhanaha, the one who is bound by action, kaunteya, O kaunteya, tadartham, for the sake of that, manusya mukta sangaha, being one free from attachment, karma, action, samachara, perform. This person who is enjoined to do action is bound by karma other than that performed for the sake of yajna. That is, other than the action performed as an offering to Ishvara. For this reason, O Kaunteya, being one free from attachment, perform action for the sake of that yajna. Yajna is a very important word in the Vedic literature. Even though the word means a sacrificial ritual, in a wider sense, yajna means every action of one's life is performed as an offering to Ishvara. In an act of giving, there is a giver, something given, and a recipient. In an offering such as a ritual, one more factor is involved, the place of offering, the altar. Thus, there is the altar of giving, altar of offering, the person who is involved in the offering, the one who does the offering, and the offering itself. Generally, in any offering, there is a word like swaha or namaha, meaning I offer this salutation. For example, when we say Namah Shivaya, it means unto Lord Shiva I offer this salutation. And this is an offering. When this expression is repeated over and over again, it becomes a japa yajna. Even the food you eat is an offering, although most people do not think of it as such. If, however, you look upon the digestive system as digestive fire, the food offered into that fire is an offering. And the altar of this offering is the digestive process, prana itself. Therefore, before eating, the food is offered to the Lord in the form of prana. Nothing in the creation is looked upon as something separate from the Lord. The Lord is a conscious being, Chetana. Only in a conscious being does the activity of digestion take place, and the food offered is not separate from the Lord. This is why the 15th chapter of the Gita and the Shloka, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, are repeated before eating. These verses make it very clear that everything is the Lord, including the food we eat and the one who sells it. Therefore, eating is an offering. In a fire ritual, the altar is the fire, the turf. The oblation is offered unto the fire. The offerer is called Yajamana and the recipient of the offering, Devata. Usually, when you offer something to another person, you expect reciprocal treatment. You expect something in return from that person. Giving and receiving gifts during the Christmas season is a case in point. You offer a gift to another, no matter how small, and that person offers you something also. All offerings belong to the Lord alone. Because giving gifts at Christmas time is a convention, a beautiful convention, you have to offer and a return is expected. It is not the gift you are interested in. It is the care and consideration, the remembrance of the other person that counts. But when we offer something to a Devata, like Indra, reciprocity is not a factor. As part of the yajna itself, I say in so many words that I am offering as part of the yajna itself, I say in so many words that what I am offering belongs to Indra. It does not belong to me. This is the mantra that we say when we make an offering to Lord Indra. Indraya swaha, Indraya idam na mama. Offering unto Indra, this is now Indra's, not mine anymore. In this way, everything is looked upon as a yajna. As we shall see in the 4th chapter, the breathing process is a yajna. The breath that goes out is called prana, and the incoming breath, when you breathe in, is called apana. When you breathe out and breathe in, when you breathe out, the prana is offered to the apana. When you breathe in, the apana is offered back to the prana. In this way, breathing is considered to be a yajna. Those who are committed to the practice of pranayama, control of the breath, are not really doing exercises. They are performing a yajna, prana being Ishvara, the Lord. In the same way, all exercises and yogic postures, asanas, are recognized to be yajnas. In fact, each asana has its own devata. Indian music is also a yajna. Every defined melody, raga, is considered to have had a head, trunk, and feet. Certain Indian paintings depict each raga with the form of a goddess. Thus, even ragas, melodies, have their own presiding deities. Any one aspect in the creation can be looked upon as an aspect of Ishvara, and that aspect becomes the presiding deity of Ishvara. And that aspect becomes the presiding deity or Devata. Thus, in any given object, you can invoke the total or an aspect of the total. If it is an aspect, it is called Devata. Any functionary, such as the eyes, ears, nose, and other organs, has a presiding deity, Devata, which is but Ishvara. The sense organs as Ishvara. If you look at Ishvara as the material cause of the whole creation, the eyes themselves are factors. The eyes themselves are Ishvara. And if you look at the Lord as the efficient cause, the Lord becomes the presiding deity for the karma. And if you look at the Lord as the efficient cause, the Lord becomes the presiding deity for the eyes. Without this appreciation of Ishvara, this bhakti, there is no karma yoga. This appreciation is the very attitude that is karma yoga. In fact, thus karma yoga is bhakti yoga. You are told very clearly that there are only 2 yogas. Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Thus, for the sake of moksha, there are two possible dedicated lifestyles, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. Either one pursues knowledge to the exclusion of all else, or no one performs karma with the proper attitude, which implies Ishvara along with one's pursuit of self-knowledge. Bhakti, appreciation of Ishvara, is common to both the sannyasi and the karma yogi. A sannyasi, jnana yogi, is not without devotion. In fact, the person's entire life is dedicated to the appreciation of Ishvara. He or she wants only to understand what Ishvara is. The knowledge being Ishvara. Nothing but Ishvara is there. Ishvara is the very pursuit. Thus, a sannyasi is not a non-devotee. Because two words, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, are used, it is commonly thought that there are two separate pursuits, the pursuit of knowledge and the pursuit of karma. This misunderstanding leads to the introduction of a seemingly third pursuit, the pursuit of bhakti. But how can this be? Suppose the sannyasi is one who renounces all action. Karma yogi is one who performs all action. And then there is a third person, a bhakti yogi. Does the bhakti yogi not perform karma? And if not, what will he or she be doing for bhakti? To worship Ishvara, certain rituals have to be performed. Whatever the person does to express his or her devotion in an action is an action, a karma. This is karma yoga, in fact. All that is being done is karma yoga. And if while singing, the person who claps or dances, the karma becomes a kayikam karma. And if while singing, the person also claps or dances, the karma becomes a kayikam karma, an action performed by the limbs of the physical body. Therefore, the karma is not only oral, it is also physical. In fact, this kind of bhakti can be so physical that it can totally exhaust the person. Kayikam karma. Bhakti yoga is karma yoga. Bhakti is the recognition of Ishvara, and any karma done for the sake of recognizing Ishvara is yoga. Even if you meditate mentally, it is bhakti because the Lord is involved. Yeah, Billa, I will take a break at 6 o'clock. You can continue for half an hour after that. Huh? If you wish to continue for half an hour after that. Even if you meditate mentally, it is bhakti because the Lord is involved. It is also a karma because you're doing it with your will. Any action that comes of your will and is invoking someone is a yajna, a karma. Therefore, the expression bhakti yoga is to be taken as karma yoga. Bhakti being a common denominator. Similarly, Hatha Yoga is a discipline which is a sadhana or indirect means for moksha. Any discipline is either for antakarna shuddhi, purification of your mind, or for the integration and coordination of the physical body. Because there are a number of disturbances and many kinds of deficiencies possible in a person, various disciplines can be helpful. Any discipline is yoga if the purpose is very clear. If not, it can be a problem. Even karate can be yoga as long as it is not done to make you feel invincible. The purpose is not to kick someone, but to gain a certain degree of fitness and coordination. When there is commitment to Ishvara, everything becomes yoga, a means. There is no discipline or activity that we can say is not yoga if the Lord is involved. In the 4th chapter, we will see how many types of activity there are, and that with these, everything is covered. Who is doing it? The person. Who is doing it? The person's attitude, the purpose for which an activity is being done. It is important to understand then that although yoga has been divided into that many means of understanding it, who is doing it, the person's attitude, the purpose for which an activity is being done, all these make any activity a sadhana, a yoga. It is important to understand then that although yoga has been divided into many different categories, the Shastra makes it clear that there are only two, in fact, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. For the Jnana Yogi or Sannyasi, knowledge alone is yoga because the person is absolved from all duties. It is not that the Jnana Yogi does not do any karma whatsoever. It is just that the person is absolved of all obligatory duties. The sannyasi is a non-competitive person, but one who does not compete in the society in any way. Only then is the person freed from all categories. The sannyasi is a non-competitive person, one who does not compete in the society in any way. Only then is the person freed from all obligatory duties to pursue knowledge. When sannyasis start incense factories, for example, they have to compete with other incense manufacturers. They have to project the product, proving it to be better than other products. Only a person who does not compete in the society can be called a sannyasi. Thus, there are only two yogas, and bhakti yoga is common to both of them. All karmas become yoga if they are done keeping Ishvara in view. A yajna is any karma which is done for the sake of Ishvara. It may be a ritual, worship, or prayer, each of which involves special karma performed for the sake of Ishvara only. Bringing up a child is also yajna and is an example of an indirect offering to Ishvara. I am here in this creation and the child is in my sleeping. And the child is in my keeping. The child has been given to me as prasada and is to be brought up by me. This is a proper attitude and is therefore karma yoga. Ishvara is recognized and the order involved is seen to be Ishvara. To see things in this way is not an ordinary situation. A person has to be sensitive so that the order that is Ishvara is an intangible. A person has to be sensitive so that the order that is Ishvara is as tangible as a wall or a rock. This kind of appreciation is what bhakti actually means. Yeah. Bela, are you able to share screen also?
Yeah. May I just try from the other device?
Yeah, you can try.
Yes.
And it is the Chap page number 423.
Yeah, okay.
Till you share, I will continue and then you can take on. I apologize today. I think I made a lot of mistakes. That is, I apologize for that. The real meaning of bhakti. Bhakti is not just chanting, although chanting is also bhakti. It is the appreciation of Ishvara and the order. This appreciation is what makes you sensitive and gives meaning to your life. Recognizing Ishvara is to be able to see more than meets the eye. more than what the eye see. Bhakti is an appreciation of what is behind and what is in front, the order within the order. Seeing, okay, yeah, you're able to share screen. Page 423, Bela.
Just give me a second. I'm not able to scroll. It is the sharing has come. The
Just
scroll.
click on any of the other page, the other side of the page. You'll be able to scroll. Is it on your? Yeah, you've gone to 468. You should come to 423.
This is on my mother-in-law's mobile. Which page is it?
It is 423. It is verse number 8 or 9, I think. You'll have to scroll further down. 420, the real meaning of bhakti, that is where you have to go.
Yeah, this is clear, no?
Yeah, you can just enlarge it a little bit, Bella. It is a little small, the letters. Yeah, this is fine. I think this is fine. You can go ahead.
The real meaning of bhakti. Bhakti is not. Am I audible? Because am
Yes,
I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes. There is
You're
no
audible.
echo.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. The real meaning of bhakti. Bhakti is not just chanting, although chanting is also bhakti. It is the appreciation of Ishvara and the order. This appreciation is what makes you sensitive and gives meaning to your life. Recognizing Ishvara is to be able to see more than meets the eye, more than what the eyes see. Bhakti is an appreciation of what is behind and what is in front, the order within the order, seeing everything as Ishvara. And this is also exactly what is meant by Karma Yoga. By any karma, you are either directly or indirectly related to Ishvara. Karma involves role playing. Something is expected of you. This action is to be done by you because you are placed in this situation. Therefore, you do it. This is how Ishvara's karma works. Otherwise, why are you in this place at this time? Why are you not elsewhere? There is meaning here. You are in this place at this time because there is something to be done by you. This is the law of karma. You see that there is a meaning and that the situation is not a random one. Everything seems to have a cause and an effect. There is no randomness in the creation. To use Einstein's words, the Lord does not play dice. Even if he did, being omniscient, he would know exactly how they were going to fall. Otherwise, he would not be Ishvara. Therefore, he has no need to play dice. Situations do not happen randomly. They happen because they have to happen. If this is understood, you will find that everything, even relationships, becomes meaningful.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah. To worship the Lord by doing what is to be done by you definitely requires that you see more than the eyes can see. You have to appreciate what is beyond the hands that perform the action, not merely the desire, but what is behind the desire. You should appreciate that the desire itself is born of Ishvara. This kind of appreciation is bhakti. In this way, the performer of action worships the Lord indirectly. Yeah, it's so beautiful. Anyone would like to share?
So this, nothing is happening here randomly, Jacob. That means, whatever we are planning also, what meaning it has, right? You're supposed to plan for the sake of planning, because everything happens, with some reason.
Yes, please excuse me, this sharing has stopped. I'm just trying to come to the page. Continue, please, discussion. Yes, everything happens for the cause and it is very beautiful. Just give me a second, huh? I'm just 423 page, I have to come back. Please continue the discussion. Please bear with my chaotic sharing. Kindly continue the sharing, please.
It's okay, Dada. Take your time. Please don't get. It's okay.
Dr.
Just take your time. And you can read it. If you can't scroll, it's okay.
Also, sometimes we make a plan and it happens some other way. So sometimes we get disturbed. Why did it happen this way? But when the next day comes and some other plan comes into the picture, then you realize it was, the God's grace. And you also, realize the reason. Maybe the previous day some incident happened and you went that way. The next day you are in the same, like for example, I was not able to take a follow-up on some day, and the next day it was something beautiful that happened when I took the follow-up. So I was really happy that yesterday, maybe today it was to happen this way, so maybe yesterday I couldn't take. So it is so beautiful today. It said that that is also bhakti, and whatever, whenever you are in that place and whatever happens is for good.
What I infer is, this free will, it's in our attitude, that's it. In reality, everything happens cause and effect, prarabdha, and then, everything is happening the way it has to happen. But we have to, do our part, like take initiative and little planning and do this, whatever you have to do. But again, refining takes place very mysteriously, you know. Things are getting refined and it comes to some shape. That also I've observed. Thank you, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Like these classes also, Dr. Brahmra was saying that she wasn't attached to much with these chanting and reading the home study in initial days, but she joined late, and it it was the way that it should have happened, and so we all connected with her because it was destined that we would be studying with her, or she may be giving us a platform so that so many of us are joined in these classes. So that should have to be happening. So it is happening this way now.
Yeah, me being in India, coming in touch with Brahmara Didi, it is so magical that I feel the same as you explained just now. That it had to happen this way. We had to meet Nana ji and had to go through this knowledge. So that's how it happened.
So
It's
that
really
is for
beautiful.
the good of so many people that Dr. Brahmara took these classes, and how like the destiny has played. She's behind all of us. The knowledge that we are gaining in such a manner, it's so beautiful and very appreciable also.
You know, even Nanaji mentioned, right? I think you're all together now, not accidentally, you know. There's something, some power or Gita's blessing that all of you have to be together and learn Bhagavad Gita and all this, you know. So things don't happen accidentally here. We are all meant to be together in this, you know, in our journey, onward journey. That's what it is. Jai Gurudev.
And this last paragraph, to worship the Lord, you have to appreciate what is beyond the hands that perform the action. It's not merely the desire, but what is behind the desire. This is also so like it's engraving more and more the part of Ishvara, and it instills more that the thoughts are made more deeper when you study these type of sentences, because some though you keep on studying, but still the I comes that I am doing this, no? So it's when you read these, then again you are grounded to the earth. Your thoughts are.
Normally, people think bhakti is, you know, crying, emotionally crying and all that. No, seeing, you know, God, everything, you know, how everything is working. That is, you know, that is real bhakti actually.
The page is not supporting me 424. It is so used to Brahmaraj, you know.
Beladi, you can read. We might not be able to. It's
Yeah,
okay.
they don't want to see.
Yeah,
They
you
will
don't.
hear. Just don't
You can
struggle.
read.
It's okay.
It
You
is
can read
Come
correct.
on your
to
own. Like we are listening.
हम तो वैसे भी सुनते हैं बेटा. They don't look at the screen.
Yeah, then I will try to just read. Just a minute, huh? Give me a second.
Yeah, don't worry. Please, take it easy.
Yeah, so I will read from my mobile only. This is, I'm not able to bring the 424 page. It is
Yeah, no problem.
Thus, there is a twofold yagna, direct and indirect. When you perform a karma, a yagna, in the form of a prayer, there is a direct relationship between Ishvara and yourself. You either invoke Ishvara in the form of a Devata, a deity, or you invoke him as the Lord straightway. Either way, there is a bhakta, a devotee, and there is a yajmana, one who performs the karma. You can do the karma yourself, or it can be done by someone else, by proxy, as when you ask a priest to conduct a ritual on your behalf. Either way, the result comes to you alone, the yajmana. Direct and indirect yagnas. Karma that invokes a devata or Ishvara directly becomes a direct yagna. Any other karma done with an awareness of Ishvara becomes an indirect yagna, because the yagna, direct or indirect, is done for the sake of Ishvara. Ishvara is called yagna. This section of the Gita provides a beautiful description of bhakti that converts karma into yoga. Everything can be seen here: the order, the ecology, and so on. At every level, there is an ecology: the ecology of thought, the ecology of karma, the ecology of action. Ecology is an excellent word, having brought into light a certain understanding that did not exist previously. Ecology is now a commonly used word because there is necessity for it, pollution now being a recognized problem. Ecology is recognized here at different levels. All the devatas, all the elemental forces are doing their jobs and should not be disturbed. Because you are a conscious being with a free will, even the ecology of the divine forces can be disturbed by your actions. If you are abusing your free will, you are disturbing the ecology of dharma, which is going to affect all humanity. Whatever is disturbed is not going to remain without producing undesirable results. This is so profound and so alarming. Anyone would like to share?
Can you read once again?
Joshi Madhya.
Yeah, shall I read once again? Ecology?
Yeah, Didi, if possible.
Yeah, sure. Ecology is recognized here at different levels. All the devatas, all the elemental forces are doing their jobs and should not be disturbed. Because you are a conscious being with a free will, even the ecology of the divine forces can be disturbed by your actions. If you are abusing your free will, you are disturbing the ecology of dharma, which is going to affect all humanity. Whatever is disturbed is not going to remain without producing undesirable results. This is so much, we keep on increasing our industrial. I'm not against any industrial revolution, but without recognizing that how much environment is being affected. How much pollution on the other side we are creating by increasing more and more factories and
Because
reducing villages,
yeah.
even the forest.
I think we can, after reading this, we can always begin from our home and do the right dharma in saving the environment and do our bit.
Correct. Think globally, act locally.
What is happening in Joshi Math, no, Uttarakhand? So much of
Yes.
all the houses they have started falling, and there's so much of destruction is happening. People have to forced to leave their houses. It's all because it's so they are basically they are making it more. It was in a natural state, but people have started making projects, many hotels and all these things. So
Yeah, they were not supposed to have more than one floor, and they kept on increasing the construction and other things.
yeah, the tunnel is being made, and so many things are happening. So it's
Yeah,
very
and
sad to
Mm.
see.
the poor thing is that innocent people are getting, I
Yeah,
mean, they are paying off. So it is
mainly the poor section, like those who have small homes, they are the sufferers now. It's not that the upper class is suffering, it's only the lower class who have small houses. They are forced to leave their houses now, and they are literally they are crying with tears because they have no way to go. It's so cold this side, and it's very harsh, like people are on the roads now.
Nature
I have
bounces back. Even COVID and tsunami, happened maybe because of us, our wrong actions.
yeah, very true.
In our homes also, like, yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead, Savita ji.
Yeah, I was just telling, like in our homes, we save the vegetables, these peels and fruit waste, all these things we put in the like we cover them with soil in pots or in all any like garden waste garden in the gardening process. So they are used as a this pesticides for the plants and these things. So we can conserve, like talking about the ecology and uh, doing our share, like giving a contribution to this ecology. We can save all these things.
Yeah,
This,
even separating wet and dry waste, and use of paper bags, and like all those things, small little things.
Yeah,
Even buying our shopping, I think we should uh, that way also, the trees and can be saved more.
it's only that at every level, like at the grassroots level, we all should uh, work thinking about the ecology, because the way the global this thing is happening, it will be affecting the next generations to come. There's so much of, when you come in the NCR area, there are mountains and mountains of the all the waste material. uh, they have become a huge mountains of the waste which is collected from the houses and from various places. It's so filthy, like sometimes like it's so you feel so sad how things are happening. We never saw in our childhood these things, but I think it's only because of more of plastics have come, so they are not being destroyed, and more of all the drains, they are all choked, and even the animals, they are eating uh, these uh, polythenes which are lying on the roadside, because people throw some food in the polythenes, and these cows and their animals who are grazing, they eat also, and they die uh, because of that. There's a lot of nuisance in this thing, the waste material, how it is not being treated, and it's contributing to all the society is like it's making polluting in a great fashion the
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah, Gurudev is bringing awareness even to the children these days. We in our Sanskar Kendra we teach them all this recycle, reuse, and not to use plastics, wet and dry waste. It's really beautiful that Gurudev has started giving awareness from the very grassroots level to the children of 6 to 10 years old.
Yeah, it should be inculcated in from the childhood. That then only the people will grow up with this ideas that how you have to conserve the environment and your neighborhood also.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And now it is more and more important because I was reading in one of the articles that this our mobile battery, not only plastic, but these batteries and they are all, I mean, they are dumped inside and they are thrown in the garbage, normal garbage. So it
Yeah.
is so scary to see the consequences of these things. I mean, it has already started dissolving in our soil and in our vegetables and fruits and other things. And I'm sure even in the sea, when they are throwing these all waste, it is coming in the fish, and those people who are eating those fish and maybe the eggs, even the cow's milk, they have found the traces of these all.
Yeah,
So
it's
important now
that's
to.
why the incidence of cancers has been increasing from the days yeah.
True. So
In
Gurudev's.
every family you will find a cancer patient is there. These days it's so becoming a like it's
Very
increasing.
common, yeah.
Yeah, you can carry on, Bela.
Yeah, actually our time is up. So anyone
I
would
just
like?
wanted to share here, like
Yes.
yesterday, or I think 1 or 2 days back, I was sharing that I used to carry, in the beginning of my journey with Art of Living, I used to carry biocompost. They used to do vermiculture in Nasik, and biocompost was the end product, which I used to bring here. And we transferred a complete garbage dump in Dharavi into a beautiful garden. So, it is not like who will do it. Some of us have to take the lead and start this kind of wherever there are garbage dumps and all that. You get people, like minded people together and start, and you can make a beautiful garden where there is a garbage dump. When you talked about tsunami and all that, I was there in Nagapatnam and Gurudev said, journalists asked, why does this happen? And he said, when you lose sight of human values, then nature strikes you in its full fury, is the way Gurudev answered the journalist who asked him this question. Okay, why does God do all this kind of thing?
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I mean, the
What
concept.
kind of role we can play, na? Like our next project is going to be recycling of batteries, which we were just talking about. And that too, we are starting in Dharavi only.
Wow,
So
that's
we are going to start that project. Now that oil project has started and the other project has started, the sanitary pads project has started. Now next project will be this.
that's so wonderful. Kindly share the details if you can, Persiji,
What?
either through the group.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, it is
And
so.
it's like at our level now, we don't have to do grassroots level working. Like there are enough volunteers and other teachers who will join us. We have to direct them. Like, see, our discussing in this group is like, it is like a sign of, I'm sorry to state it, but it looks like it's a sign of helplessness that we are showing. And what can we do about it is the way we should look at it. And there'll be enough people who will join up with us. I have never had to work alone in that sense of the term. Like there have been, Dharavi, there are very strong volunteers who do the grassroots level working. I don't have to do the plowing or, all that. I just brought the biocompost and gave it there. And then they do the work over there. So there'll be enough people joining up who will do the work. And now Art of Living is so prominently known that other people from outside also, from the community, will join. See, when we started our first lake regeneration project, the Gaowalas did not want to come in. But when they saw that the water was retained, we simply did, you know what? We put stones and we put fishing net. We did not even have enough money for cement to build a dam kind of a thing, to retain water in a water body, to make water bodies all over where there is drought conditions in Latur and all these places. So we just became innovative. We use big stones, boulders, and we put fishing net. We literally, with nails and this thing, we put the fishing net there and made. We dug big pits and we made water body. And then when the water is there in those big water bodies, then the wells also which have dried up, they get the water. So the whole village, then they wanted to come and help, and then other people from other villages started coming. Okay, we will help you. So once we start a movement, people will join up, but we need to do it instead of just discussing it here, get down to that level, and wherever we see this, whatever we can do. Start the movement, people will join up and do the grassroots level work. I mean, at our age, we cannot do the hard laborious job, but we can direct them to.
Very true. Just to begin that one, the later on the zeros are added already by the grace of Gurudev.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, very beautiful. So we have to think globally, but we have to act locally.
Yeah, we have to start in our own areas. We just start the movement, and then you see people will join you. It just needs, they don't know how. We know how. Like somebody was just sharing that they segregate the waste. I have been making enzymes. Like, see, when Yamuna, when we had the WCF, how much of the YLTP crowd brought in, how many thousands of liters of enzyme to put in the Yamuna so that it stopped smelling. There was no foul smell coming from Yamuna when we had WCF there. Previously, even the buffaloes would not enter the water. After our putting the enzyme, the buffaloes started entering, birds started coming. So we just have to start that. Gurudev started it there, saaf karenge. He didn't have to work on the field himself. But so many people join up and do work with you. You just have to lead them. We can be very good leaders. We know how to do it.
That's wonderful. Thank you for inspiring, Persiji.
Thank you so much, Pasiji. This is beautiful idea. In fact, I was looking for it. Now I know how to go about it. Thank you so much. And I will contact you if I need any help.
Yeah, so we will just wind up. Loka samastan sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastan sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastan sukhino bhavantu. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Hari Om. Dhanyavad Sarvebhya.
Thank you.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Guru.